Next up, we have a presentation on extracurricular sportsmanship, and I'm going to welcome Miss Yanni, Miss Boss, and Mr. Lewis. Thank you.
Good evening, President Meyer. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Hamburg, and Mrs. Marshall. We are very excited to come tonight and talk with you about We Are the Ville and our sportsmanship campaign. So, why sportsmanship? Why now? What's going on? It's across the nation. It's across the world. We were actually able to see fantastic sportsmanship in this past week or so with the Olympics, and this event only just really added to all of that spirit. It truly did. But the need, it started with concerns. So whether it is environment at our games, and we've had situations at some of our games that we've had to work through, it is the impact on our students, and we're going to unpack that here in a moment, as well as referee shortage. Many of the people in the room may not know that we do have a high referee shortage, not just here in Ohio, across the nation. They're trying to increase how many referees that we are bringing in, as well as some of our games sometimes have to shift because there aren't the referees that we need. Our process starts with our surveys. We talk with our students and we talk with our families. They fill out these extracurricular surveys at the end of each and every season, and it gives us some feedback that we go back and talk with our athletic directors, our coaches, and we saw some trends in some of that data that we were receiving back from them. There are similar campaigns across the state. There is Respect the Game with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, as well as the National Federation of High School Sports talks about benching bad behavior. So we're making sure that we are really emphasizing that positive culture that is needed at games. When we looked at our data, we recognized that we needed to dig a little bit deeper. And so we went to all 3 of our high schools, as well as 2 middle schools, to get even more feedback from our student athletes. We had focus group activities for the students, and really we heard their voices throughout this entire process. We also led a parent group, family group from our boosters, and got some feedback from them as well on some of the initiatives that we had in mind. Some of the questions that we asked students included, have you ever faced a challenging situation in sports where maintaining sportsmanship was difficult, and how did you handle it? We heard things like, I have, and it's difficult when someone's not being a good sport because it makes you mad and then not want to play fairly. So again, what's happening around is impacting the way that they want to play and participate on the field and how they're going to be treating others. Sometimes they take a pause and think of something else and then come back to the situation with less intense emotions. So again, going back to that need for all of that social emotional play and making sure that we're coaching our students on how to handle that. And then another student said, you just have to prove it and prove it on when you play. What are some ways that we can celebrate and recognize acts of sportsmanship within our school and our community? Here we heard kids talk about voting on players that you see having good sportsmanship and making sure that they are recognized. We want to have pep parties that sportsmanship is encouraged and have a sportsmanship committee full of students from all of our high schools.
So earlier, Ms. Yanni had mentioned efforts by the Ohio High School Athletic Association, by the National Federation of High School Sports to come up with campaigns. Now we wanted to look at what would a campaign at Westerville City Schools look like. So we took all that feedback, the data, and came up with 2 goals for this work. One being increasing awareness of the need for positive role models in the stands so students and the community can have a positive experience during an athletic contest. And 2, fostering an environment where student athletes feel supported, respected, and provided space to grow and enjoy the game. A lot of kids talked a lot about personal experiences when they're in a game and they feel, they see, they hear what might be happening in the stands, and it does have an impact on what they're experiencing on the field. So with those goals in mind, some themes emerged as we looked at that campaign. First being, we are the Ville. So if you see here, we've started to establish some branding. This logo reflects all of our buildings that serve students. It was created by Kyle Lewis. And so with this, we are the Ville. It serves as a reminder to students that no matter which school they attend, they are still one Westerville. And two, it kind of sets the tone for future activities to reinforce camaraderie and good sportsmanship, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the presentation. And the second theme, let them play. Our kids talked a lot about they just want to play. So this captures kind of the spirit of that. Respect each other, respect the game, let them play. So it recognizes the need for an environment where students feel supported, respected, and provided space where they can grow and enjoy the game. So that goes back directly to one of the goals of our campaign. And also, it's a message that we want to see featured in our printed and digital materials. It's already coming out in some of our messaging to our high schools related to football. And it also serves as a theme of pregame announcements by athletes. Last season, some of our athletes at one of our high schools had prepared message from the Ohio High School Athletic Association's Respect the Game. So we wanted to localize that to Westerville City Schools.
Thank you. I have to give a really quick shout out to Matt Davis, who is manning the cameras and the switcher so that I can be up here. If we started naming off all the ways he helps the district, we'll be here until midnight. So thanks, Matt. Any educator will tell you the best way to coax a certain kind of behavior out of a student is to teach them about it and then model it. And we saw this as an opportunity. We took the idea was sort of based on the Greater Columbus Sports Commission's Community Cup games, where they have members of the community come in and participate in basically an adult field day. And we wanted to do that with our students. So I'm sure everybody remembers field day is the best day of the year when you're in school. I learned at 41 it is also the best day of the year. So we asked our leaders at our high schools who would be some good students that we could invite to this, what we called the We Are the Ville Games. We got a list of about 150 or so students. We ended up with about 50 high school athletes who were nominated by their coaches and administrators. They were split just about evenly from the three high schools. We mixed them up and put them on teams so it wasn't, Westerville North competing against South, competing against Central. They were all combined, and Superintendent Hamburg was kind enough to come and help us kick things off. Doug Ute, the executive director of the OHSAA, was our keynote speaker, and we had a mass of volunteers from all over the district, all the high schools, a lot of coaches, and a lot of central office people who you guys see up here at the podium pretty often. I am a much better video editor than I am public speaker, so we put together this video to kind of recap what the day was like.
Welcome to the first We Are the Ville Games. We are here to celebrate sportsmanship and all of you and what you bring to our community.
A special thank you to our student athletes for being here today. It is so very exciting to see you all in your matching We Are the Ville shirts.
Agility, balance, speed.
Get under. You got it. Go! Yes! You guys, your hands are. It's not the 2 feet, was it? No, what? Hey, 16 here.
Sandberg. Appreciate your opponents, appreciate the effort they give, respect the effort that they give, because they love that sport that they're playing as much as you do.
You guys were selected by your coaches and peers to represent our schools, right? So I hope that you don't only take this back to your team, but really to the school in general, and spread this message throughout our buildings. You're the leaders, that's why you're here.
So fun to see all the teams out there, to see North and South and Central kids mixed in, and your enthusiasm. So great job today. I know it was hot, so way to push through and persevere.
So the day was a huge success. Everybody had a lot of fun. We had went through a lot of popsicles and water bottles and everything. It was hot. Should give a shout out to Dr. Nestor Baker for coming and
the chicken pass.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys could tell, but she wasn't just holding a clipboard or blowing a whistle or whatever. She was in mixing it up with the kids and having a really good time. So.
I did feel like it was a workshop for all of the adults as well as for the students involved. It was just such great team building in general. And I hope that, it really did capture. It was a lot of fun. So we are going to continue to review our survey results, our student results. We had, as the kids were eating popsicles, they filled out a survey about their experience and about whether or not they would want to be involved in further initiatives within their buildings, as well as the district in general, and how can we, step it up. We also asked our volunteers for feedback, and the feedback that we're getting, it just takes even this to the next level, and different ideas that we had no. Again, it is about the community's voice. If the people that we are doing this work with and doing this work for, if they're behind it, then it just makes such a difference. It truly does. So we did review those survey results. We're going to continue to work with student groups. There will be a We Are the Ville Sportsmanship Award. It will be recognized by the Board of Education. This is something that we are excited to bring, that each season we will have the coaches nominate students for sportsmanship. A lot of time we nominate kids for being MVPs. This is about something different. And so we want to make sure that we're recognizing that, and it's something that the students have asked for. So we want to really make sure that that is happening. So those initiatives and the partnerships within our community. I don't know if Kyle mentioned it or not, but we also had Rotary members that were at the event. And that was just such a great way to involve our community, because it is not just about Westerville as a schools, it's about Westerville, our community, and how can we all pool as a community, because it's not just our school members that are coming to all of our games and our theater events and our band concerts. It's our entire community. So how can we make sure that our entire community has positivity? And so, thank you. What questions can we answer?
Any questions?
Share the podium as they ask questions.
Really quick. So what, I'm thinking about the mental health team. Did you collaborate with them on this project?
So the mental health team actually members of the mental health team were there with us. That was a piece of it. Mm-hmm. We have worked with our coaches in past seasons doing QPR training. We want to make sure that initiative is not lost. And so within this, we have three high schools. Two of our high schools already have student leadership groups for sportsmanship. And our third school is jumping on board, and they're going to be taking this and running with it. I feel like that is a way that we can infuse part of that, and making sure that we are making sure our kids know who are the people they can go to, who are their adults in the building, creating that sense of belonging, and where they're getting some additional feedback and strategies of how to make sure that they can handle themselves when times get tough.
Yeah. I really appreciate that, because a couple years ago we had a little incident, so I just want to always continue to revisit how important it is to get the mental health team in with our sports teams and make sure that we're set as the school starts.
Absolutely.
And I think initiatives like this and Hope Squad and many of the other things that have been implemented are going to continue just to build what a wonderful team district-wide. So thank you so much for all of this. It's amazing, absolutely. It was so hot that day. I don't know how you guys did it, but kudos.
And there were very few complaints about the heat. I mean, truly, everybody was celebrating. We could have used spritzers. That was one of the feedbacks.
that was something that we got as feedback.
I think one thing that was so neat too is I asked a lot of the kids that were coming around our station because they were just high-fiving and you would have thought they were best friends forever. Like, hey, did you guys already know each other? Because they were from the different high schools, and almost all of them were like, no, we just met today. So we talked about just carrying that over then when you're in the student section at those rivalry games, and how do we, remember how to treat each other. But that was a really neat thing to see.
That's great. Thank you.
Becca, I was so pleased with the day. It was exciting, it was fun, and yeah, I haven't done field day for, I'm not telling you how many years, but it was seriously fun. But as I was there, and I'm talking to Doug Ute about it, and looking at everything that's going on, and seeing these young people and their interactions with each other, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a catalyst for so much more. It takes us far beyond sportsmanship. It takes us into every aspect of what we do in this community and this school district. And I want to thank you. I know I thanked you that day, but I want to say it again. The work you're doing with the position that you are in is phenomenally important to the fabric of this community. And I thank you for all that you're doing to help make sure that that warp and weave is tight as it needs to be.
It was definitely a team effort, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All I have to say is awesome. Great job. This is fantastic. I guess I do have one question. You'd mentioned that one of the high schools, before the games, they have some of the students read off some, materials from, I think it was OHSAA. Are they going to be doing that at all 3 high schools maybe this year?
That's our plan.
Okay, awesome. Because we all know that it's usually the adults in the stadium, not necessarily the kids on the field who are behaving inappropriately. So a good reminder for everybody might be nice.
Yeah, and we feel that the students, their voice carries it stronger. So, we could have a typical announcer read it, but when a student who's going to be on that field reads it, it makes a bigger impact.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ditto. Great job. I love this. I'm so excited about it. I'm bummed that I missed it. I'll have to schedule it for next year so I know that it's going to happen. But really great job and wonderful logo. It does feel like a community, so great job. Thanks.